Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be comparing the Apple Earpods to the BeatsX in-ears. So here we have a wireless pair of earphones and we also have a wired pair of earphones. Now you might be asking yourself why I'm comparing the two, since they're both two different styles of earphones. One of them is a wired earbud style pair and the other is a wireless in-ear pair. So one of the main reasons why I'm comparing both of these earphones together is because maybe one of you guys out there own a pair of Apple Earpods and you want to know how they compare to the BeatsX since you are thinking of upgrading from the Apple Earpods to the BeatsX. Or if you're an iPhone user, you might currently be using these as your everyday earphones and are looking for that quote-unquote next best pair. And if you have one of the later iPhones, then you are most probably looking for a wireless pair since you no longer have a headphone jack. So basically, regardless of the circumstances, the earpods are essentially going to be used as a reference pair of earphones. And so since many of you have owned or currently own a pair, I'll be able to refer to the sound and some of the other things on them. So with that said, let's go ahead and compare the sound, the microphones, and mention some of the pros and some of the cons with both of these earphones. Now before I start, I just wanted to quickly mention that the earpods, regardless of which ones you have, so if you have the Lightning version or if you have the 3.5mm version, they both sound exactly the same. The only difference on them is the connectors all the way at the end. So starting first with the sound on the Apple Earpods. So the sound is overall pretty decent for a pair of earphones that are included with your phone. They produce all the frequencies relatively well in my opinion, though the highs are slightly more pronounced, putting these on the brighter side, as opposed to on the warmer side. So you also have balanced mids, a decent amount of bass, and average soundstage. The only thing or things that these earphones lack within the sound, in my honest opinion, is maybe fullness within the sound, especially at higher volume levels. So at higher volume levels, they might start to sound slightly hollow, but otherwise these hold up pretty well in terms of the sound quality. Now, if I had to describe these in one word, I'd say average. So let's now compare that to the sound on the BeatsX. So with the BeatsX, first off, I do need to make sure that I'm using the right sized ear tips so that I get that perfect seal in order to hear the bass and all the other frequencies properly. This is probably one of the biggest cons with in-ear style earphones, but I'll talk about that in another video, perhaps.
If you wish it. If you wish it. If you wish it.
So now back to the sound. So for the most part, the sound signature is very similar to the sound signature on the Apple Earpods. So you have the highs that are more pronounced, giving them more detail and cleaner sound, but also making them more higher pitched and potentially ear fatiguing. For the mids, they are balanced, no complaints there. And then for the bass, these are lacking. It's funny though, because some tracks the bass will sound pretty leveled, but then in some other tracks it's recessed. And this is isolated to these earphones because if I test the same tracks with other earphones that have a more pronounced bass, I get more reliable results. So again, the bass on the BeatsX is in my opinion lacking. And then lastly, for the soundstage, it is good. It's actually one of the things within the sound that I really liked on the BeatsX. So now, how does this overall compare to the sound on the Apple Earpods? And to answer that, I'll say this. Aside from the build, design, and functionalities, the BeatsX are pretty much the in-ear version sound equivalent to the earbud style of the Apple Earpods. So again, besides for the bass slightly lacking and the good soundstage on the BeatsX, they practically sound very similar to the earpods. So in short, don't expect a huge sound quality improvement between the earpods and the BeatsX wireless earphones. But now when it comes to functionality, fit, and build quality, this is where the BeatsX shine. So first of all, these BeatsX are wireless as opposed to the wired earpods. So you get that freedom of moving around without having a cable restricting your movements, and you also have a better and more stable fit within your ears due to the optional wingtips that you have with these, as opposed to the earbud-like design on the Apple Earpods, which fall out of my ears quite often, especially when moving around. Now, both earphones have remotes on them with volume adjusters, so they're pretty much the same here. And then both earphones also have microphones, but when it comes to the microphones, the mic quality on the earpods crushes the mic quality on the BeatsX. But to be fair, Bluetooth earphone microphones are usually garbage. And out of all the microphones on the Bluetooth earphones that I've tested, the BeatsX came out at the top. So really, it's technically not such a fair comparison since the AirPods are wired while the BeatsX are wireless. But anyway, here's a microphone quality comparison between the BeatsX and AirPods. So this is what the microphone sounds like on the BeatsX earphones. and I'm recording this using the voice memo app on my iPhone 6. And now I'm using the microphone on my Apple Earpods, and this is what that sounds like. So I'm also recording this using the voice memo app on my iPhone 6. So to summarize up this comparison, if you decide on purchasing the BeatsX, don't expect the sound to blow you away. It is, in my opinion, very similar to the sound on the Apple Earpods. But with that said, if you're looking to upgrade from a pair of Apple Earpods to a pair of wireless in-ear earphones, and you weren't particularly looking for better sound, but more so for good build quality, fast charging, almost seamless pairing experience if you have an iPhone that is, and also without any of the audio-video synchronization delay issues that are more common on cheaper Bluetooth earphones, then these might be for you. But if price is something that's holding you back though from purchasing the BeatsX, then you can always wait for these to go on sale. I've seen these quite often sell on bestbuy.com for under $80. So keep an eye out for that, and a good deal website to scan for this offer is slickdeals.net, which I'll link to in the description below. Now, if that's still too expensive for you, then you can always look into the Meizu EP52s. Those happen to be one of my favorite sounding pair of Bluetooth earphones. They cost around $50 and are totally worth it in my opinion. If you wanted to see my review on those, I'll have a link to that and everything else that I spoke about in the description below, along with some links to where you can purchase everything featured in this video as well. So anyway, that's going to be it for my comparison between the BeatsX and Apple Earpods. Hopefully you found this comparison review helpful. If you did, please hit that like button. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and as always, I'll catch you on the flip side.